It's cold outside, and thank goodness we play inside. We're looking forward to having an opportunity to play a Missouri team. We played early in the year, and you talk about escaping with the win there. We did. They missed 2 free throws going down the stretch, and we were able to survive it. And so as we play them in the game here, it's a team that, you know, they lost Wes Clark, but they're a dangerous team. Mississippi State game, they were 1 possession away from winning that game, and that's without Wes Clark. So it's a team they have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And we want to me, this game is more about us getting better as we dial down with 6 games. You have 6 games left to go in the season, so it's an important game. It's a big game. It's a game that also is going to have an opportunity to recognize one of the all-time Arkansas great players here, Quarless Williamson. It's a banner night for him, so hopefully it'll be a packed house and a special evening, you know, where our fans can honor a true legend in Arkansas basketball history.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know Sidney, and that was cool, but, you know, Quarless was a guy, you know, you recruited and played for, you know, a team when you were on the staff. Just how special is this thing for you?
Well, I think it's going to be real special from the standpoint of how all of it's coming together. You know, Quarless, I think his first year, they played the first season at Barnhill, and then, of course, Bud Walton Arena opened up. And so, and just knowing him from when he was a young kid to where he is right now, and all that he's done. He's the only guy that's been MVP, I guess, of a national championship, of a Final Four, all conference, all American. He was the #1 recruit coming out of high school, so his reputation preceded him. But I think he continued to work, and was a great representative of the university, great representative of the state of Arkansas. He's a great player. Played on a national championship team, played on a world championship team in the NBA as well with the Detroit Pistons. And, of course, he's an assistant coach now with the Sacramento Kings. But to have a special day where we truly honor him, I tell you what, and for me personally, to have a chance to be the head coach here while it takes place, that's special. That's real special.
You mentioned the dedication game when you guys blew Missouri out. Kim Anderson said that was the first. He hadn't been at a game here since that game. Well, what do you remember about that? It was 120-68. Missouri had a pretty good team.
Well, they had a very good team. It was one of those nights where our guys were chopping at the bits to play in front of our fans, a national audience, and one of those nights where everything clicked. It just clicked. We made shots. We defended. We played well. I mean, we could have beat a lot of teams that night there. It just happened we played Missouri.
Do you remember seeing Quarless as a high school player?
Oh, without, yeah, oh yes, high school player through AAU. Well, first of all, he didn't look like the typical high school player. I mean, his body was probably college ready at that particular time. He's very nimble for a guy that size. You know, everybody talked about his power, and you know, he broke backboards in junior high, and so they talk about his power. And but I was more impressed with how skilled he was as a big guy, and of course, we played up tempo, fast basketball. Where did he fit in at? And well, he fitted in real well. He had a great career, and I think his development here gave him an opportunity to go and play at the next level and be a mismatch up there, because he learned how to play out on the floor. But when you talk about a high school kid, he was quiet, really. He let his play do the talking. I mean, he was, as I say, he was one of the #1 high school player in the country coming out of his senior year. He didn't know Othello Harrington, I believe, and so coming in, McDonald's All-American. He came in with Scotty Thurman, that group there, and the rest is history.
Mike, I know Quarless was in Berkeley last year. You guys played County and IT. Do you guys get to talk much during the year? Or you're just both so busy it doesn't happen much? Or?
Well, you know, I know sure he and Scotty, they're like brothers. They're thick as thieves, you know. And going back to Quarless, you know, his parents were unbelievable. Betty and Jerry, they did a great job with him in high school, just keeping all the the fanfare away from him. And so even as it's developed, he came here. I thought they did a good job with that. But we text back and forth, and he'll call every now and then. And once he comes to town, he'll come by and see us. But I'm sure he and Scotty probably talk maybe once or twice a week.
Yeah, Missouri, I know Missouri's your rival now in the conference, but you spent 5 years of your life, building that program back up and made it pretty good. Now to see them being 1-11 in the league, I mean, is there any part of that that pains you a little bit, or just how do you feel about what's happening?
Well, when you've been a part of a program, you had hopefully to build it to where it was. We left it in pretty good shape. You want to see that continue to flourish. And the same way here with Coach Richardson. I'm sure, having won a national championship, many tournament berths, Final Fours, and to see the what you built, not necessarily at that level. That's kind of, it can be kind of disheartening. But at the same time, Kim Anderson is going to do a great job. I mean, he comes from Norm Stewart's background. He coached with him, he played for him, and it's just a matter of time. It's they got a good program, so it'll rebound. It'll rebound back, rebound in a big way too.
How do you think not having Wes Clark impacts their team?
Well, it just gives somebody else an opportunity to step up. They did it against Mississippi State. They, Shamgar, they had some guys that were suspended. They're back now. They'll be in a much better rhythm. So the Wright kid, the Gil Caesar kid, but Clark he's a leader on that team. So I'm sure somebody will step up for him.
I say this kiddingly. Dial up a few more plays for Manny now.
Well, it's funny you say that, Clay, because I guess I was on the talk radio today with Tim Brando, and that was one of the questions. What's the difference from this year and last year? And if you recall, I talked about being plays away. We were plays away from having a tremendous season last year, whether it be at home or on the road. The Florida game here, which is I think it's the only game we lost here, right? And we lost the Missouri game here. What you talking about plays away? And then you go to Georgia, the overtime games, the Tennessee game. We were plays away. And so with the year of maturity and and getting the right guys to understand what it is we're trying to accomplish, I think this year we're starting to make those plays. And that's the difference between, there's a thin line between winning and losing. And I think we're making those plays. And part of making those plays is trusting guys. Last year that might have been Kai trying to get in there and trying to score and make somebody foul him. Well, guess what? He became a facilitator. He got in the lane and he saw what the defense gave him, and Manny was the recipient. And he trusts Manny enough because let's say Manny won the first option, he probably won the second option. But guess what? The ball found the open guy. That's the key. That was the go-to guy, the open guy. And so we're recognizing that, and I think we're recognizing it. Things on defense as well. Some things are breaking down. One of the bigger plays I thought was Landis blocking the shot, and that wasn't Landis' man. Mike was guarding the guy that penetrated to the hole, and Landis happened to be there, and he blocked the shot, and we came up with it.
It would be nice if they would have done that from the word go, but do you feel like it's one of those things you got to go through the bad to get better in this case?
It's just a process. It takes patience. It takes this coach to have a lot of patience. But you got to go through it. It's no where you just, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Players make plays. And I think being in those situations enough. And we've been in enough situations where games have been nipped and tough. We were down 5 with maybe, 3 minutes ago? But you never saw our guys rattle, never got panicked. As a matter of fact, they came down, and I thought we executed, went right to Bobby. Bobby got a score for us. Now we got to go get some stops. And all of a sudden now, a team that was scoring when they took the lead, Mississippi, now all of a sudden we getting stops. And that was critical going down the stretch. So we started making plays, not necessarily just offensively, but defensively. And so that, to me, was starting to recognize, the things it takes to win. And that's what you got to have winning plays. And the winning plays may not be on offense. The winning play may be, okay, they got the ball with 6 seconds, we up 1. All right, guys, are we celebrating or do we get back and guard? And Landis picked the guy up with Summers, who's a guy who I just saw against Florida. He came down and nailed a shot right at the buzzer for him to win. And Landis did a good job of recognizing where he was.
Coach, Bobby, SEC Player of the Week, and we continue to see consistently the big numbers from him. But are there some things that are not showing up in the box scores right now? And if so, what are those things as far as the way he's really been able to help your team?
Well, you know, I thought the other night he was big around the rim. He was blocking shots. They gave him 4 blocks, but I thought he had more than that. He may have had some more hurries. And so the first half he did some scoring. He scored, I think, maybe 1 bucket in the second half. But he did the scoring in the first half. And in the second half, I didn't think the offense was in a rhythm that it should have been. But let's give credit to Ole Miss. They're a good basketball team. But I thought rebounding, his presence inside, getting his body in position, I thought it was big. He made some nice passes out of the post as well. So he just continues to find ways to impact the team, even if he's not scoring. And he's going to get people coming at him. He's going to get the double-ups. He's going to get where they're really pushing him off the block and just trying to get in his head, such as when we played Auburn. They was really just trying to bang him. And he's responding in a positive way. But I just thought the other night he was really active defensively, just trying to block shots, trying to fix things on defense. And we were a little tougher at the rim at times.
Look at your road record and smile a little bit.
Because that was the narrative for so long.
You know, that's well, as I talked, the progression is, you know, when we came here, you know, you have to change the culture. And the guys, we inherited some guys that, you know, they are quite naturally, and that's nothing against them. They had been on the losing side. And so what happens is when you're in those situations, what's going to happen? You're going to revert back to what you used to do. You're going to lose, and that's what we did, lost some games. But the one thing we were doing, we were defending the home court, especially the first couple of years. And then I thought last year we had an opportunity to really now take that same mindset and take it on the road. And we were plays away, and we did. We got a little bit better. And I think this year here we're doing it even more so. And it comes down to players. You got to have players to make plays. That's all. You got to have some guys that are mentally tough, and you got to have guys that are physically tough. And you got to be a team. And that's, I think, what we're seeing, the progression. It's a progression.
He's shooting over 65%, but he's only taking about 2 shots a game. But do you think he's shooting that well because he's not taking more shots, or would you like to see him maybe be a little more aggressive?
It's probably dad and mom probably say, hey, Coach, he need to shoot some more. Probably. I would, if I was a dad and mom, I'd say, hey, Coach, he need to shoot some more, man. He got the highest field goal percentage on our team. But nah, it's managed about winning. It's all about winning. You know, you take good shots, and that's what you're going to get. He's the ultimate team player, and he just continues to get better. He's a guy that's like a sponge. I mean, on every word that one of our coaches says, and he's locked in. He's listening. He's trying to learn. And but he comes off the bench, and it just gives us big lift, big energy. And he's not worried about scoring. It's amazing. You don't worry about it, and it just comes to you. If you don't worry about scoring, it just comes to you. And so he's really impacting our team in a lot more ways than just scoring. That means he's taking good shots.
What kind of impact has having a guy like Lee Mayberry helping out with your team had for guys like Beard and Durham, and as well as Madden, a veteran? Well,
they've heard stories of Lee Mayberry. I'm sure they saw him in the media guide, and they know he's had an opportunity to play at the next level. He had a tremendous career here. So having a guy like that, they can tap into that. They can go and visit with him about, you know, certain things. He can work with them. So for me personally, because I recruited him, it's kind of neat to have somebody that's been through your program, very much like TJ, like Coach Cleveland, that have been through there. They know what it takes, and so they can be more of an encourager. They're not that, you know, that far removed, you know, from the game in terms of playing. And obviously these guys are trying to get to that level. So he's one of those guys that that I think just being here is like having a true treasure, a guy, an alum that has played here, and not only played here. You got to remember now, he's still finishing up his schoolwork, and I think that's even a great story in itself. That he has that kind of self-satisfaction that he'll come here to do that with these guys here. And not only that, but to be around. He's been a joy to be around, because when these guys are going recruiting, it's easy for me to say, hey, Lee, get out there and work with those guys. Let's get some stuff done. And he understands it.